or a Cancer, or a Capricorn, or a Unicorn, or no one cares. Aquarius. Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Business Blaze. I am your boy the Blaze, certified legend Simon, and this video is brought to you by Blinkist. The first 100 people! That's not very many. Is that right? Should it be 1,000 or should it be 100? Oh it's 100. Get on it! I mean, another sponsor are like 1,000 people. And I'm like, okay, I mean, that feels like a stretch goal. But 100 is like, well, that's gonna happen, isn't it? Go to blinkist.com/blaze. You'll get unlimited access for 1 week to try it out. You'll also get 25% off if you want the full membership. It doesn't actually say what Blinkist is, but it's basically, it's a service where you have an app and it has 15-minute summaries of books. It's rather good. Obviously, I'm gonna tell you more about them in a bit, so I was just thinking if you're really excited about it, you want to click on it right now. Blinkist might be slightly disappointed because they saw the name Business Blaze and were like, ooh, a sensible channel about business. I had a sponsor and I got really pissed off about this because they were like, we saw the ad that you did and it's just not really appropriate. You mentioned getting COVID in the video and joking about it. And I'm like, well, I didn't get COVID, for one, so what are you talking about? And two, what makes you think you get creative control over my videos? You don't. And also, did you not watch the channel you were sponsoring before you sponsored it? What happens here, if you're wondering, is that Danny will write me a fine script, The World's Worst Spies. Absolutely nothing to do with business. I will read it, I'll add my own sprinklings of bullshit, and Sam will add some fine vintage memes. I've often thought... Also, I was thinking, like, could you ever have a video about the world's best spies? And I don't think you could, because the world's best spies are the guys you've never heard of. Like, there'd be like John Smith. Yeah, he literally saved the world in 1993. And it's like you've never heard of the world being saved in 1993. You've never heard of John Smith. And that's exactly the point. I've often thought how nice it would be if the world's governments got together in Geneva every 12 months to hold a lavish televised award ceremony for the most successful secret super spy of the year. I feel like this would be a good way to catch out the dumber spies. The viewing public would hear all about the escapades of a short list of candidates who are all in attendance, wearing false moustaches and quaffing wine alongside other seated celebrity names. Way that we then get a chance to cast our vote, leading into the climax of the celebrations, during which the year's winner is invited up to the stage to pick up the stylish trophy from a special guest presenter, David Hasselhoff, and then absolutely is sniped by someone from like the KGB. The crown's winner, unless they are a member of the KGB, which honestly, they probably would be. The crown's winner, it makes a few jokes, thanks their family and gods and the incompetence of local law enforcement agencies, and enjoys his or her glorious moment in the spotlight. Career over though, isn't it? Because it's like, oh, you're the guy. You're the guy. It's like, I am not the guy. I am not American Spy. I am Comrade Joseph. The following day, they go back to work. And they get shot dead for being a filthy spy, obviously. And this is the problem with having super secret spy as the job description on your passport. Danny, I don't know what your passport says, but my passport definitely doesn't have my job on there. Whenever I apply to like get a visa or something, it's always a bit weird because, you know, it's like job, just, you know, what do you do? And I'm like, well, you can't write YouTuber because people will be like, no. What do you do for money? It's like, oh, I often just write advertising because technically that's how I make money. Thank you, Blinkist. We only usually get to hear about the ones who get discovered. All the consummate professionals are never actually detected during their successful undercover careers, and so they never get the recognition or the Employee of the Month book token. Oh, fascinating. That's what I want. Yeah, what did you get? Oh, yeah, it was your £15 W.H. Smith's voucher. Perfect. Of course, even a top-level master spy with years of experience in the art of immaculate infiltration can fall victim to rotten bad luck, accidental unraveling, or ruthless betrayal. But there are other cases where the spies in question were clearly just palmed off with the wrong advice from the career information officer at school. Here are some of the most notable spies in history who were foiled in their attempt to pick up a gong at the annual awards bash. And interestingly, I think I made a video about celebrity spies a million years ago on my Top 10s channel. And it's like celebrities as spies is actually pretty clever because it's like, yes, everyone knows who they are, but also no one expects them to be a spy. Like if you're, I don't know, Cold War American celebrity and you go off for like a cultural exchange to Russia or whatever, and you've got your like secret spy gadgets and you're spying. I mean, well, one, you got to be one seriously patriotic motherfucker. Because if someone was like, Simon, do you want to be a spy? I'd be like, no. What, go somewhere and risk death? It's like, I already am okay, thank you. Hard pass. I'm just not that patriotic.
The memo said we relaxed the office dress code to allow showings of patriotism.
Aldrich Ames, the not-so-secret millionaire. I've never really grasped how the job application works at places like MI6 and the CIA. I've yet to come across any Spies wanted advertisements in the job vacancies sections of the local press, and I'm not entirely sure what qualifications you'd need to get your foot in the door. Are you just meant to be quite good at lying? How would they trust anything you put on your CV or anything you say during the interview? Well, probably because they're really good at detecting lying, because they're the CIA. Surely they just keep attracting candidates who are already working for the other side. That's a legit question, and I'm sure, I mean, Danny's making a joke, but this is, I'm sure, absolutely something that these secret spy agencies do consider. And they'll be like, well, you have to go through like 18 lie detector tests because, you know. I may never find out. I can't ask any of my friends because none of them have any experience working as a spy. At least I don't think they have. This is the thing, I love that TV show Spooks, which was about MI5, not MI6, like domestic. I don't know what the American equivalent is, but like domestic spies, like doing stuff in country. And it's like, yeah, the spies always have really boring jobs. So what was that guy? He was like, he worked in IT and it was just boring. And it's like, yeah, what do you do? Or what's that Tom Cruise movie where he's like, yeah, I analyze traffic. And he's talking about how interesting it is, and you really believe him, and it's like, no, he's definitely a spy. My old Yorkshire buddy, Dmitry Mikhailov, did tend to start talking weird shit after a couple of pints of Guinness, though. I don't think that applying for a job at the CIA in the States is particularly tricky, as it sounds as if they're happy to employ just about anyone, and then keep promoting them, even if they cock up. Aldrich Ames, from River Falls in Wisconsin, first joined the CIA in 1957 as a low-level pen pusher and managed to rise through the ranks over the next few decades. This was despite the fact that the hard-drinking Aldrich had a tendency to get into drunken brawls with police officers and pass out his desk, following a good knees up the night before. I mean, I guess as long as he's not getting drunk and divulging state secrets. Although you'd think like assaulting a police officer would bar you from being a spy. Although then it's like, do you have a criminal record? No. Yes. And it's like, okay, we know you're not a spy.
You're fired. You're hired.
So, I mean, it's also the classic thing in movies. Like, don't they be like, you know, the gang organization, they're like, all right, prove to us you're not a cop. You have to kill this random dude. It's like, oh my God.
Okay.
Super intense. I'm glad I'm not a criminal or a spy. Like, I get stressed out, like, about mundane shit. Being a spy would actually tear me apart. By the 1980s, Aldrich had been posted to New Mexico, during which time the married man embarked on a string of affairs, most notably with a woman called Rosario Casas Dupuy. Dupuy. Who knows? You might think that this is none of the CIA's business, but Rosario was actually a Colombian agent working as an informant for the CIA, and you're supposed to declare stuff like that to your superiors. Wait, so he worked for the CIA, she was an informant for the CIA, I assume he knows. Or do they just dance around the fact that they must have, don't they have like a secret handshake? Like you're in some foreign country and you're a CIA spy, and you come across another guy and you're like, you're with the, yeah, cool. And then they know. You just sense it. Maybe it's got a smell. Although it was an open secret within the agency that Aldrich and Rosario were romantically involved, neither of them bothered to officially report it. On one occasion, an absent-minded Aldrich accidentally left behind a suitcase on a subway train, which was a problem, as the briefcase was stacked with stacks of classified information. Oh, shit, Aldrich, come on, dude. What? You're a spy. Don't you have like a briefcase with handcuffs on it to keep your together? If you're going to be I mean, I know that's not for people who forget the briefcases, but why don't they pull one of those out of CIA storage and use it for you, Aldrich? On another occasion, he got so drunk at a diplomatic reception that he became involved in a boisterous argument with a Cuban official before passing out at the table. Well, honestly, I'd never think this guy was a spy. He's too outrageous to be a spy. You'd be like, that guy, he's just a drunk idiot. And he may be, but he's also spying on you. There was a time he got involved in a road accident in Mexico City, but was too intoxicated to answer the police's question or even recognize the US Embassy officer and dispatched to bail him out. So hours later, he's getting bailed out and he can't recognize the dude. How did you even make the car function? The CIA's response to all of this was to offer Aldrich another promotion and move him to the Soviet desk at CIA HQ, where they figured he might be less likely to cause a scene or get into trouble. Fire him, for God's sake!
You're fired! You're hired!
He must have something on them. He's got some like secret files. Although blackmailing the CIA on the list of bad ideas, I feel ranks fairly high. By this time, Aldrich had divorced his first wife and married Rosario, but quickly found himself in a spot of financial trouble. The hefty divorce settlement had left him in a bit of a pickle, and it turns out that his new Colombian flame Rosario had very expensive tastes. And we're not even talking about cocaine. Oh. By the mid-1980s, the CIA was becoming increasingly concerned about the number of Soviet bloc agents who were disappearing off the face of the Earth. Over the next few years, they began to suspect that there was a mole at work within the CIA and compiled an internal list of 128 suspects who had potentially been spilling secrets to the KGB. I get the feeling it might actually be Aldrich. I know we're talking about the world's worst spies, so you're probably drawing that conclusion as well. But is he really going to be a mole? I thought he was kind of a clown, but is he really going to be like the true evil bad guy? It's quite amazing to think that it took them to 1992 to whittle that shortlist down to one. I don't know, you'd be like, it's just the drunk, harmless guy. Which is why he's so brilliant. There were certainly enough clues that Aldrich Ames had been accepting substantial payouts from a dubious source. Oh, though. I mean, that's like a red alert. Aldrich, what's these huge bundles of like Colombian cash? And by cash, I mean under your bed. And he's like, oh, nothing. It's, I drive Uber on the side.
What is that, man?
What does it look like?
Looks like coke.
Yeah, it smells like coke too.
He originally approached the Soviet Union in 1985, oh no, offering an initial batch of CIA secrets for $50,000 before upping his game over the next few years and effectively providing the KGB with the keys to the kingdom and handing over a complete list of all known Soviet agents working undercover for the CIA. He'd been assigned his own special Soviet handler, and the two of them would regularly meet for lunchtime dates, after which Aldrich would be paid between $25,000 to $50,000 in exchange for fresh information divulged that day. What year was this? Mid-1980s. So, I mean, that's worth a lot more today. What, 2, 3, 4 times as much? That's a lot of money. I mean, yeah, he's divulging secrets to the Russians, so, from the CIA during the Cold War. So you can see why the information is valuable. Also, what are you going to do with all that money? You can't spend it, because they'll be like, Aldrich, you're a government bureaucrat, essentially. I don't know if people know you work for the CIA. Whatever, he's not going to be, rich. And he's like, Aldrich, you got a brand new Porsche. Where did that come from? And I mean, if you're a clerk at Walmart or some shit, you'll be like, my great uncle died and he left me a bunch of money. When you work for the CIA, that shit probably doesn't fly. In total, Aldrich is believed to have received $4.6 million from the Soviet Union over the course of 9 years. But he didn't do a very good job of hiding his newfound wealth. In fact, he was splashing it around like an idiot.
I'm rich, bitch!
Danny and I, same page. Colleagues have noted in the past that Aldrich had paid little attention to personal hygiene or his appearance, quite aside from the fact that he usually stank of cheap whiskey. He also wore slovenly clothing and sported a set of rotting teeth. Pleasant. Rosario got a catch. The drunk, nasty-smelling double agent. Brilliant. Now, he was suddenly turning up to work in top-of-the-range Jaguar, flashing a pair of new shiny teeth, and wearing the kind of fine-tailored clothing that would have been beyond the shopping budget of his superiors. He and Rosario also snapped up a fancy new pad in Arlington, Virginia for $540,000, which was paid for in cash. So that's well over $1 million today. And then spent an additional $100,000 sprucing up the place. Aldrich, are you trying to get caught? You literally work for the CIA. What do you think is going to happen? Even Rosario's monthly phone bills came in at just over $6,000. Largely because she spent most of the day catching up with friends and family back in Colombia. Jesus Christ, she needed Skype. Whilst under investigation, Aldrich managed to pass 2 polygraph tests. The KGB had allegedly advised him beforehand to just relax and feel confident, and apparently this did the trick nicely. Noted, next time I have a lie detector test. Sounds like I'm regularly undergoing lie detector tests. I'm not a spy. It's like, yeah. Just relax and be confident. Noted. Spy training complete. Mind you, the KGB also repeatedly advised him to be a bit more careful about showing off his wealth, warning him that it could be his downfall. But what did they know? I don't know. Everything. Clearly smart. The net finally closed in on Aldrich in 1994. Now under heavy surveillance from both the CIA and FBI. How was he not immediately from the get-go? It had not gone unnoticed that Aldrich's bank account had always seemed to get a bit fatter a couple of days before he had lunch and exchanged gifts with a bloke with a Russian accent. This really makes me doubt the competency of the CIA. It's like, how? Come on! Both Aldrich and his wife Rosario, who was also in on the act, were arrested on the 21st of February 1994, just as they were about to board a plane for a nice little holiday in Moscow. Dude, you're also going on trips to Moscow? I don't understand. Even if you didn't work for the CIA, someone's going to think you're a spy. It was later revealed that Aldrich's 9 years of well-paid treachery had almost destroyed the American intelligence program in the Soviet Union, endangered the lives of over 100 agents, and led directly to the executions of at least 10 of them. That got serious real quick. You're getting the chair or something. Rosario served 5 years for tax evasion and conspiracy to commit espionage, while Aldrich is still serving life imprisonment for espionage at the Federal Correction Institute in Terre Haute, Indiana, with no possibility of parole. I thought they'd kill him. I guess not. Also, 5 years for like, well, I guess it depends on how involved she was. But like, really? There's something of a relief. I was half expecting him to just get promoted to CIA deputy director or something. I mean, it literally, after that show, it wouldn't be unbelievable, would it? Something that isn't an absolute mess is today's fantastic sponsor, Blinkist. Let me tell you something about Blinkist. Look, the reality is, it's not always easy to sit down and read all the books that you want. Despite having all of these books behind me, I haven't read any of them because they're just there for day. I picked them up at a boot fair and I put them there. It's just decoration. I don't even know what they are about. There's one. I read Arnold Schwarzenegger's book and that's back there. None of the others have I read. You know, and that's because I'm a pretty busy dude. I don't have a ton of time for reading. And what's great is Blinkist helps me still be big brain without having to read all the books. Because what they do, Blinkist it's an app, you have it on your phone. Let me get it actually. So it's an app, you have it on your phone, and what it basically has in here is a bunch of different books, and if you click on one, let's just click on... Okay, so Walter Isaacson's The Innovators. I love Walter Isaacson. I read his Steve Jobs biography. Yes, he did do Steve Jobs' biography, that's enough. I've not read The Innovators. I've not even listened to the Blinkist version. But basically here is a 19-minute summary of the book. You can either read the blinks, which are just these short text excerpts. Whoops, I went the wrong way. Let's just go back there.
Okay, boomer.
Or you can go to, and you just click this audio version, and it will read it aloud to you. Let me just...
The Innovators. How a group of hackers, geniuses, and...
All right, steady on. And so basically there's a whole bunch of books in here. I think there are over, don't they say it's over 3,000 books? Yeah, basically 15 minutes, or some of them are a bit longer, some of them are a bit shorter. Summaries of over 3,000 books. Read or listen, I already said that. Oh yeah, I listen like 90% of the time. Because normally it's about a 15-20 minute walk to work for me, so I just pop them in. I'll listen to one, usually just once. Like I'll listen to one on the way or on the way back from work, and the rest of the time I listen to a podcast or something. By the way, Blinkist also has summaries of podcasts. I didn't even know that. It's apparently new. I haven't even tried it yet, but there you go. You can enjoy that. 14 million active users. I've got to make a recommendation. What should we recommend? Oh, you know. Just to show you, I've not even thought about this, but what we'll look up is I bet they have this. This will make Danny happy. The Communist Manifesto. Oh, they don't have it. Oh, no, they do. It was just loading. And there you go. You got the Communist Manifesto, appropriately, background red, of course. And it's 12 minutes long. I feel that's 12 minutes too many. I don't know why I'm recommending that. I'm not recommending the Communist Manifesto. Who's it for? Anyone who works for someone else. No, don't be reading those books, Danny. I gotta restrict his access to Blinkist. Don't want him reading this. Anyone who's wondered why wealth seems to concentrate at the top. That's not one. Let's move on. Let's look at actually useful business books. Who could we look up? Peter Drucker, famous business author. They have almost, well, I don't know about all of his books, I can't remember them all, but The Effective Executive, Innovation and Entrepreneurship, look, actually useful business books. You can click on that. 13 minutes long for that one. Look, I've done enough recommendations. It's fantastic. You should try it. You can get a week for free, which is also great, and then you'll be able to find out whether you like it or not, and you will like it. Just go to blinkist.com/blaze. Also, if you try that week and then you're like, Simon, this is the best thing that has ever happened to me in my life, you can get 25% off a full membership, which is obviously fantastic. Again, I got to repeat the CTA. 7-day trial, cancel at any time. Blinkist.com/blaze, and then get 25% off if you want the full membership. Mwah! Michael Bettany sings Hitler's disco classics. Thank goodness that you'd never catch the British Secret Services behaving in such a sloppy manner as the CIA. I'm getting the feeling there's about to be a but, Danny. Or maybe that's not entirely true. Well, that's basically a but, isn't it? Michael Bettany was born in Stoke-on-Trent in England in 1950 under the star sign of Aquarius. Oh. Danny, I know you're joking, but I don't ever want people to think that you're that dumb. Like, look, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I've got to move my phone away because if I have the mobile reception on, it will come on the mic and everyone will be like, Simon, why are the mic sounds? From very humble working class beginnings, he earns a place. Oh, what was I going to say? Yeah, about star signs. If you believe in that, you're dumb. Or like that part of your belief system is dumb. And be like, Simon, well, I've noticed that as a Taurus, this often happens. It's like, that's just a coincidence. The only realistic thing I can get from the fact that you're a Taurus is you're dumb because you brought up that you're a Taurus. Or a Cancer, or a Capricorn, or a Unicorn, or no one cares. Aquarius. From very humble working class beginnings, he earned a place at the prestigious Pembroke College in Oxford, but developed a reputation as something of a character. Just like Aldrich Ames, Michael had a taste for whiskey, but we shouldn't be too harsh on judgment of that, as most students in the UK tend to spend their university years staggering around in drunken oblivion. I would know nothing about that, Danny. I don't know what you're talking about. The slightly more alarming thing about Michael is that he was very public in his gushing admiration for Adolf Hitler. That is slightly more alarming. And after he'd enjoyed a few shots down in the local pub, he would often try and encourage everyone else at the bar to sing along with him on rousing renditions of Golden Greats from the Nazi jukebox. What the dude? Of course, made Michael Bettany an ideal candidate to sign up with the British Security Service MI5 in 1974. No, it doesn't, MI5! It's worth noting that the agency was under pressure from the government at the time to recruit more spies from a working class background, so while the whiskey swigging and the Hitler worshipping may have been some cause for concern, the fact that he looked and sounded a bit rough meant that he was helping the CIA meet a quota. I think Danny means MI5. The CIA probably... Did it exist? Yeah, 1974 it did. It'd be like the MI5 having a discussion. Yes, so we're thinking of hiring some new people. Oh, jolly good, old chap. The thing is, we're all extremely posh. Do you think that's a problem? Oh my god, yes, we should get some ruffians in here. Should we just hire anyone off the street? Yes, sounds perfect. Throughout his early years working for MI5, Michael continued to hit the whiskey bottle, and during one particularly disorderly night on the Tars, he was apprehended by the police for creating a public disturbance. He whips out his MI5 badge and is like, boys, and the police are like, that must be fake. They attempted to bundle him into the van, but an indignant Michael screamed out the immortal words, "You can't arrest me, I'm a spy. Please tell me you didn't, Danny, no." In quite an uncanny mirroring of the Aldrich Ames story, MI5 chose to deal with this problem by promoting him to the Soviet desk. I feel like 1974, surely the Soviet desk is the most important desk. And why are we promoting all the most incompetent people to it? It's almost as if this department is viewed as the naughty step of the intelligence security services. It's like, why not just put them in like records? Like if I was a spy and I got assigned to records, I'd be like, oh, I did something bad, didn't I? Whereas if I got promoted to the Soviet desk, I'd be like, this is the most important desk. There's probably great opportunities for betraying my country for large amounts of money here, and I have problems and things to hide. Wait, was this guy? No. Well, maybe this guy was having an affair. Whatever. The other guy definitely was. But the CIA didn't seem to mind. And it was during this period that Michael hit upon the idea of taking photographs of highly sensitive MI5 documents and passing them on to the KGB. He's just sitting at his desk. So, oh, you know what I could do? I could take pictures of these. And I bet the KGB would like them. They'd probably pay me a lot of money for those. No one ever thought of this before. Sure, it's not illegal. It's quite remarkable just how easy it was for Michael to leave the office every day armed with a stack of confidential photographs. Back in those days, MI5 staff were never searched as they left the building, as this sort of thing was deemed to be too un-British. Oh, guys, you're gonna wake up to that. By 1983, Michael was hiding a stack of photographs of secret documents at his home and decided to make contact with the KGB. He shoved all the photographs into a package and popped them through the private letterbox of the head of the KGB station in London, indicating that more secrets were on the way if the head of the station responded in time. One widely reported myth is that the KGB felt that MI5 were just trying to take the piss by sending in a bumbling fool to pose as a double agent and ultimately infiltrate the KGB. This is the thing. When you appear to be such a terrible spy, maybe people are like, oh, there's so much double or triple like bluffs going on that it'd be like Aldrich Ames. It's like no one thinks he's a spy because he's so drunk and incompetent. But then people are like, maybe he is a spy, pretending to be drunk and incompetent so that people think he's drunk and incompetent and not a spy. Even though he's just drunk. I'm already confused. Not having time for any of this, they contacted MI5 the following day and told them to stop mucking about. But in fact, Michael was perhaps just a little unlucky, as it turns out that another member of the KGB station in London, Colonel Oleg Gordievsky, was in fact a double agent working for MI6, and he was the one who alerted British intelligence to Michael's betrayal. Dude, I mean, surely you've got to think about that don't drop them off by yourself, like, because someone will be like, oh, that's Michael. I've seen him when I come in for my double agent meetings. He's on the Soviet desk. Fuck that guy. In 1984, Michael was sentenced to 23 years in prison after having been found guilty of 10 offenses that fell under the Official Secrets Act. He was released in 1998 after serving just 13 years and recently died from alcohol intoxication in 2018. Holy shit, he never gave it up. But the reasons for you spent 23 years in prison. Didn't they dry you out? But the reasons for Michael's duplicity are still open for debate, and most likely didn't involve money at all. Some say that he knew he was on the brink of being fired from MI5 anyway, following a flurry of fresh drinking-related convictions and getting arrested for using an out-of-date railway season ticket. What? He got arrested for not having a ticket? Is that even possible? Don't they just fine you? Oh, yeah, that would suck. Why did you lose your job? Yeah, I didn't pay for my railway ticket, so I got arrested. That gave me a criminal record, so I can't work for MI5 anymore. Can you really get a criminal record for that? I mean, not speaking from personal experience. Definitely never ridden public transport without a ticket in my life. Definitely not. So he was just trying to get revenge on the people who were poised to take away his job. Michael, the problem with that, mate, is that, yeah, if it was a regular job and you were like leaking corporate secrets, well, you're still going to get in big trouble for that. No, don't do that. Don't leak secrets, especially not government secrets. You're going to go to jail, Michael. It's the Cold War. But it's far more likely that there were political motives behind the treason. During his years at MI5, Michael had developed a taste for Marxism. Oh no. Well, there's our communism mention for the video, which went down very smoothly with his whiskey. He came to believe that the UK and US were working together to destroy the Soviet Union, both economically and militarily. Well done. And Michael wanted to do his bit to help steady the balance of global power and perhaps even avoid another world war. So maybe he was just trying to be a communist superhero and save the world from destruction. Bad luck on that front, comrades. Indeed. Anna Chapman's sleepover. You probably need to be a particularly devoted breed of spy to take on the role of a sleeper agent. During the early 2000s, yeah, this has got to be intense. Like when you see those movies and TV shows where, maybe not spies, but like detectives or whatever, undercover agents, go undercover for years in like the mob. I'll be like, I can imagine nothing more stressful, and mad respect to those guys. It's like, holy shit, dude. I think my heart rate would just be 100 constantly, just being like, all the time. During the early 2000s, Russia's Foreign Intelligence Service, the new international arm of the post-Soviet Union version of the KGB, planted a sleeper ring of 10 agents within the UK and the US. Led by the glamorous spy Anna Chapman, I've heard of this. The idea was to spend several years posing as ordinary citizens and building up a portfolio of VIP contacts in a bid to gain access to intelligence which could be discreetly passed back to Russia. This feels like the Americans TV show, which is really quite fun. Unfortunately, it appears that, by fun, it's pretty intense. Unfortunately, it appears that for most of the time, Anna and her buddies were very much asleep at the wheel. It was almost as if they just couldn't be asked to do this properly. Born Anna Vasilyevna Kushchenko, the 20-year-old leader of the gang, had already spent a bit of time hopping around between New York and London, and I wish my life was that interesting at 20, and had already managed to bag herself a British husband who she bumped into during an underground rave party at London's Docklands. Your life, Anna, is wild, and you're 20. It's very possible that the poor husband was tricked into a scheme to get Anna a new British surname, a UK passport, and a British citizenship. What? They couldn't arrange this. You're like a nation state. Can't we figure this out? The Americans figured this out. I don't know how did they do it in that show? I don't even remember. It doesn't matter. The marriage lasted 4 years and the husband later died young from an accidental drug overdose. I feel like, couldn't I buy like a new identity on the dark web? Mate, look, all of my spy knowledge just comes from movies. But surely, if people could get new identities and run away forever, which I guess happens all the time, why can't the spies get it? And this was also back in 2000. They're gonna have less technology, and it can't be that hard, can it? During her time in England, Anna Chapman was officially the CEO of a company called Property Finder Limited, which didn't appear to do much business, but served as a suitable smokescreen for the spies' devious espionage activities. However, some of the methods employed by this gang of misfits left a lot to be desired. I'm not shocked at all by this. On one occasion, Anna decided to register a mobile phone number under a fake name and address, but it appeared that she wasn't feeling particularly creative on that day for the address she put for the cunning name of 99 Fake Street. Well, does it matter if you're just getting a burner phone and they ask for an address? It's a burner phone. Still, it's good to know that the sleeper ring recognized the importance of login passwords. They obviously didn't want any Tom, Dick, or Harry accessing their secret digital files, and it's a relief that they didn't go with Russian Spy 1234 as a password. In fact, they were ultra careful in this regard, and they came up with a long-winded 27-character password consisting entirely of random letters and numbers and funny symbols. Good work. They're definitely going to have forgotten it or something, aren't they? Of course, the problem with this approach is that such lengthy random passwords can be quite tricky to remember. 27 random characters, quite tricky to remember. Impossible to. I can barely remember my passwords as it is, and they're not that complicated. Of course, the problem with this approach is that such lengthy random passwords can be quite tricky to remember. But one of the agents had a clever backup plan. He wrote down the password on a piece of paper, oh no, which he left near his computer at all times. No! There was no way that this guy was ever going to be made to look like a fool. Some of the coded communications between the agents also failed to hit the mark. They were meant to convey crucial information using cryptic language craftily hidden inside what sounded like a perfectly natural and innocent everyday message. But many of these messages just sounded very faintly suspicious to the well-trained ear. One of them read, "You'll meet this guy. Tell him Uncle Paul loves him. He will know. It is wonderful to be Santa Claus in May. Yeah, I mean, that just sounds like spy talk, doesn't it? It's like, the shirt turns black at midnight. It's like, oh my god, something is happening. I don't know what it is, but something is happening. This guy is a spy. Although the spies were meant to be sending their secret squirrel email messages over highly secure networks at all times, Anna clearly thought that this wasn't always necessary. One fine afternoon, she popped into a midtown cafe for a quick coffee and logged onto the cafe's network to send a confidential message to a diplomat from the Russian embassy called Mikhail Semenko. The thing is, Mikhail was sitting right outside the cafe in a parked van. It surely would have been far more effective to just wander outside and whisper in his ear rather than transmit the message over public Wi-Fi and a bacon butty. Other minor blunders in this delicately orchestrated operation included conducting transactions in broad daylight and full public view, and keeping hold of their communication guidebooks for future reference instead of memorizing the contents and destroying them as instructed. Guys, I mean, I know you're young, 20 years old and stuff, but did you go to spy school? Still, none of this really mattered anyway. After the agents had first taken on their new sleeper agent roles in the UK and US, it didn't take long for the CIA and FBI to cotton on and start monitoring their every move. Shocking. Some have suggested that this was a rare case of pity espionage, in which the agencies felt so sorry for the hopeless gang of spies that they just didn't have the heart to arrest them. It's like, oh, they're useless anyway. What are they going to do? They're probably doing more harm than good. It's more likely that the CIA and FBI felt that placing the gang under surveillance might dish out some useful information from the other side. But as the years passed, having learned nothing of more value than how much Father Christmas appears to enjoy the summer months, the authorities moved in. Or maybe they were really good and they were like double bluffing. Seems unlikely. But you never know. Spies are spies. There are clearly some extremely competent ones. Facing a federal court in Manhattan in 2010, Anna and 9 other defendants pled guilty to conspiracy to act as agents of a foreign government, but avoided any jail time as they became part of the biggest spy swap between the US and Russia since the days of the Cold War. Really? These were the spies that Russia wanted to get back? That makes me think that maybe they were really good spies. Masquerading as bad spies. Masquerading as ordinary people.
You foul, loathsome, evil little cockroach!
Hermione, no!
Spying is complicated. Anna and her buddies were deported back to Russia in exchange for the release of 10 Russian prisoners who had been convicted of espionage on behalf of the US and the UK, many of whom were in very bad health. One of them, Sergei Skripal, would find himself in even poorer health a few years later when he and his daughter fell ill in Salisbury, England in 2018. I thought this was longer ago, after being poisoned by means of a Russian nerve agent. That was so intense. It's like, oh shit. The Russian government denied the UK's accusation of attempted murder, and both victims ultimately survived the attack after several weeks in critical condition. As for Anna Chapman, following a few months of debriefing in the motherland to check she hadn't defected, Anna was allowed to pursue a new celebrity life and become a national hero. What? She began hosting her own weekly TV show called Secrets of the World, was appointed editor of Venture Business News magazine, and became a popular catwalk model. Anna, your life is f***ing wild! This is amazing! And appeared on the cover of the Russian version of Lads Mad Maxim, wearing skimpy lingerie and holding a gun. Holy shit! She even inspired her own range of risque plastic action figure dolls, which are kind of a weird mashup of Barbie and James Bond and Predator and the Bells of St. Trinians. All of this makes me think that the limelight-hugging Anna Chapman was perhaps never quite cut out to make a successful undercover spy. You're supposed to slip under the radar, rather than use the opportunity to shoot your mouth off, pitch a TV series and launch a book tour. Although, I mean, respect. That's what we always got taught from day one of the MI6 top secret training school for international super spies. Still, the maid of Fake Street would have been a perfect choice to perform a raunchy song and dance number and announce the winners of the raffle during the interval of that annual award ceremony in Geneva. Well, that was a callback, Danny, and thank you everybody for watching. This has been an episode of Business Blaze brought to you by Blinkist. There is a link to them below. If you'd like to purchase some merch, you can go to purchase merch to get this Smash the Dislike Button t-shirt. Also, I've got a range of beard oils. If you're a bearded man and you were thinking, oh gosh, I would love my beard to be softer, that's beardblaze.com. And that's all the plugs. Thank you for watching. Maybe it's got a smell.